Good evening, everyone. This is Blair Miller over at Atlanta News First and at our First Alert desk, and hope you're having a great start to the week. Plenty hot out there as it's been here the last few days, and we'll touch base with meteorologist Pete here in a few minutes to get an update on the forecast and what we can expect this week, because really a lot of people talking about how warm it is out there, and it sounds like it's only going to continue. Maybe some rain chances as well, so we'll be touching base with him here tonight. But one of the big stories we're going to be following all week long is the presidential debate that will be taking place here Thursday night, right here in Atlanta. So the heart of the political world will be focused on what's happening right in our own backyard when we have former President Donald Trump and President Joe Biden in town to handle this debate, which will be taking place Thursday night. And we will be out there carrying this every single bit of the way. We've been talking with voters out there today, and we'll be talking with them every day as we lead up to this, really trying to get a sense of what people are watching for and what they hope to see. And our political reporter, Doug Reardon, has been looking into this, seeing already some activity as the campaigns get ready. And here's some of what he found out there today.
The earliest debate in presidential election cycle history will take over Atlanta Thursday. Hosted by CNN, airing at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, there will be no audience and no opening statements from the candidates. While many voters have made up their minds, Georgia State University professor Eric Siegel says this will be telling for voters who haven't.
So when you're just looking at those people, would a debate make a difference? Absolutely.
Siegel expects a wide range of questions, from the economy to immigration and abortion, Supreme Court picks, and, because both men have served as president before, questions on their records.
You can talk about things that you really can't talk about when one of the parties or both have never been a president before.
Biden and Trump are also the two oldest presidential candidates to ever debate, so questions about their age and mental state will be something to watch for too. Not to mention the possibility of a gaffe on stage that will have to stew until their next possible debate in September.
If they make a big mistake, it's not magnified for 3 weeks or 4 weeks. It's magnified for a long period of time.
Will anybody be watching the debate on Thursday night?
This past weekend, Trump again questioned Biden's mental capacity at a Pennsylvania rally, saying he'll need medication simply to stay awake for the event.
He'll come out, I say he'll come out all jacked up, right? All jacked up.
But even one of Trump's possible picks for vice president, Republican North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, admitted Biden can shine in front of a crowd.
This guy has got the ability, and we've seen it. We've seen him in debate 4 years ago. We've seen him in the State of the Union this year. That when he needs to, he can step up.
That report from our political reporter, Doug Reardon, who's been looking into what we can kind of expect as we get closer to the debate. And so this will be taking place over at CNN Studios, but a couple interesting things with this. There will not be an audience in there. Microphones will be muted except for when the candidate who gets the question is answering. And so it'll be interesting to see how much debate there actually is and how they kind of treat those microphones when all this gets started. So that's going to begin at 9 o'clock on Thursday. Certainly we'll be doing a lot more coverage as we get closer to that debate, which takes place a little later this week. And we'll be carrying the debate here live on Atlanta News First as well. Another big story out there, a couple of weeks ago we were talking about the water. We saw the water issues here in the city of Atlanta, and so many people concerned about the age of the infrastructure. And another city, the city of East Point, focused on this as well, and we talked about some of the federal funding coming to help some of the local municipalities deal with the aging infrastructure, and the city of East Point is getting a major boost from some federal partners to address some of the old pipes and the frequent water main breaks they've been seeing there that would be helping thousands of people here in Georgia. And we saw the potential consequences here in Atlanta when some of that isn't addressed. And our Rachel Aragon was looking in that today, talking with officials about what kind of impact they could see out of all this.
I'm Rachel Aragon in East Point, where new federal legislation could help the city address its aging water infrastructure. The city of East Point says one of their top priorities has been upgrading their aging water infrastructure, more than half of which is 60 to 70 years old. Today, Senator John Ossoff announced legislation he's introducing that would strengthen water infrastructure projects in the city of East Point with the help of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Senator Ossoff says he's rolling out similar bills for other communities within Georgia that are in urgent need of improving water infrastructure.
That report from our Rachel Aragon, who was looking into this and see the impact, some of the fallout that we've seen after the city of Atlanta had its issues here just a few weeks ago, and we saw how widespread that was and how many people that truly impacted. of course, I was talking about the weather and the heat out there. This is certainly something a lot of people are talking about as we get back to work. And if you look outside, it's just been gorgeous out there. And this is one of our live views that shows you, what we've been talking about. And it really is gorgeous out there. When you step outside, you're certainly feeling it. But I don't know how much we can really complain because it's kind of the time of year that we deal with this thing. Let me bring in meteorologist Patrick Pete, who's certainly tracking all the heat and the temperatures. And we had the heat wave last week. So what say you, my friend? And officially, it's another heat wave this week?
It ain't still. The new one started last week, and it's going into this week, and it's not letting up.
Officially, it's a heat wave when it hits 90 for 3 straight days. Is that
Yes, 90 degrees or higher for 3 straight afternoons, and we've been there. We have been there. We were in it. I know that you don't remember because you weren't in the streets.
These Atlanta
In
streets.
93-degree weather, 94-degree temperatures on Saturday, marching with an umbrella.
But yeah, I was up in D.C. and it was hitting 100
Yeah.
up there, and or the heat index or whatever, and they were very concerned about it up there as well. Down here, I mean, we're somewhat used to that. But.
Yeah, definitely. And it wasn't oppressive. The humidity wasn't as bad here as it was up there. But what we did have to deal with, unfortunately, was the hot temps, upper 90s. And that's going to continue to be part of our story. Things are relatively dry for us, and that is not going to change. Good evening, and thank you all for sticking around for the weather segment of this stream. Of course, I am Atlanta News First meteorologist Patrick Pete. Let's go ahead and get this little super changed, and then we can dive into the forecast, which, is it's going to be hot. I'm just going to be honest with you. There's not much of a cool down in the forecast. It may not seem like it, but we actually had a cold front move through our area today. That's what brought those showers and some rumbles early this morning. A couple of people in the newsroom said they heard the thunder temporarily this morning as, they were waking up. That continues to be something that I look forward to hearing because I didn't hear it. And when I walked outside this morning, all I saw was a little bit of puddle, little tiny puddle across our area. Just switching up something for you guys real quick, and we can dive into this forecast. Let's go. There it is. Alrighty, so let's talk about what's to come. And unfortunately, it's going to continue to be an unseasonably hot week. Temperatures hanging out in the 90s, mid to upper 90s, flirting with 100 degrees for a large chunk of the 7-day forecast. Low rain chances. We're watching a system that's going to bring a little bit of moisture overnight Wednesday into Thursday, another front. I shouldn't say cold front because it's not really cooling us down, but something we will be watching for a little bit of rain activity. Everybody's not going to get it, but some folks will, and that's going to help out some of the grass and some of the drought conditions that we are finding ourselves in. Something else that we're watching is going to be the potential for this humidity to creep back up as we head into the weekend. Temperatures increase, the moisture increases, and that's going to bring in the heat index. That's going to be a big part of our story heading into the weekend and the beginning of next week. And we're also going to have to deal with some afternoon pop-ups because that southerly flow also brings in that type of instability. We do have a code orange air quality that goes back into effect tomorrow for our area, something that we see a lot of this time of year, especially whenever you have a setup with an area of high pressure nearby. It causes a lot of sinking air, and there's a lot of particulate matter in the air, specifically ozone right now, that is impacting people who have respiratory issues, COPD, asthma, all of that type of stuff. And it's also impacting infants and the elderly. So those are going to be the folks that want to limit their outdoor activities, specifically late afternoon, early evening. You don't really want to be outside doing stuff because that's going to be when it's hardest to breathe. Everyone else really not impacted, but it's going to be those folks in those sensitive groups. As far as the skies are concerned, another sunny day as we head into your Tuesday. Temperatures warm up quickly. We'll get into the upper 70s by around 9 o'clock and then head towards 90 already near lunchtime, 89 degrees. Expecting highs to climb into the mid to upper 90s through the afternoon. That forecast high of 98 will be what a lot of folks are experiencing as they're making their way home from work. So very warm through the day. That energy continues into the evening. If you had dinner plans tomorrow night, probably want to make that reservation to be indoors because it's going to be near 90 at 9 o'clock at night. So just really not a whole lot of cooling through the overnight hours. We dipped to the mid-70s to kickstart the day on Wednesday, and I do think that Wednesday's fairly dry. Temperatures are still climbing to the mid to upper 90s through the afternoon, but you can see that a little bit of instability moves in from the west. That's going to be showers and thunderstorms firing up out ahead of that cold front. We do expect this front to be weakening as it moves our way, but should still be enough to give us some scattered showers and storms. Once again, this isn't going to be a cohesive line that gives everybody a little bit of goodness, but it's something that we're going to be watching because showers and storms are going to be likely through the overnight and into the start of your Thursday morning. That boundary is still going to be pushing through the area. I think it's going to be a slow mover. So that rain chance will stick around for Thursday morning, but once again, it's going to be weakening. It's going to be decaying as it moves through. So the best chance for some of that rain will be through the very early morning hours. I think anything that's left over is just going to be real spotty. But it's enough for us to keep a rain chance in the cards. Temperatures are the dominant story here. It's the upper 90s for me. It's the heat that's dominating the forecast for me. It's the isolated rain and thunderstorm opportunities that are on the lower end for most of us for the next few days for me. Heading into the weekend, temperatures climb into the upper 90s to hang out there, but the humidity starts to creep up. So we're going to be talking about triple-digit heat indices as we head into the beginning of next week. Really looking at day 8, 9, and 10, looking at some of the data that's coming in. Once again, it's still too far in advance to get specifics, but heading into next week, we could really be talking about some of our communities potentially seeing heat advisories because of the humidity increasing and the hot temperature sticking around. So something that we're going to continue to dive into, obviously, over the course of the next few weeks, and we'll update you here and, of course, online. We're also keeping an eye to the tropics right now. There's an area of low pressure that is moving through the Atlantic basin, getting ready to enter the Caribbean. And as it moves into the Caribbean, especially the Western Caribbean, we do think that that area is a little bit more favorable than the location that it's in now. And so there could be some gradual development, not likely over the course of the next few days. But once we extend out the forecast to about 7 days, that is something that we'll be watching for. Of course, if this becomes a tropical storm, the next name on the list is Beryl. So we'll keep you posted. I'm going to go back to the 7-day forecast just so that you guys can get another look at it. I know those numbers are hot and you probably don't want to look at it. I know I don't, but I'm going to let you. And of course, I'm going to keep you posted. Listen, I'm holding down the fort tonight, so I'll be updating you on the new data that I get in on these rain and thunderstorm opportunities this week. I'll have that final look for you on Peachtree TV tonight at 10 and on Atlanta News First at 11. Y'all have a fantastic Monday. We got through the first day of the week. Let's get the rest of it.